Today, we explore how sugars impact your wine tasting experience. Sugar in wine comes naturally from grapes. As grapes ripen, they produce glucose and fructose through photosynthesis. And these sugars provide energy for yeast during fermentation, and yeast consumes most sugars, converting them into alcohol and carbon dioxide. The remaining sugars after fermentation are known as residual sugar, or RS for short, and contribute to the sweetness in the wine. Ultimately, residual sugar, alcohol, and acidity shape the wine's taste and mouthfeel. Now, sweetness levels will vary based on residual sugar. For example, dry wines have little to no residual sugar. Now, off-dry wines will retain some residual sugar for subtle sweetness. And semi-sweet wines will exhibit noticeable sweetness, but will still keep that balance. And sweet wines often come from late harvest grapes or early fermentation stops. Remember that climate and grape variety also affect the sugar levels you find in wine. Grapes from warmer areas have higher sugar levels than those from cooler climates, which yield less sugar but more lovely acidity. When in doubt, remember that the wine sweetness scale also helps identify sweetness levels based on residual sugar. So dry wines are going to have 0 to 9 grams of residual sugar in that bottle, so it's going to be crisp with no sweetness. Whereas your off-dry, medium dry will have 10 to 17 grams per liter, so slight sweetness, but still very balanced flavors. Now your semi-sweet or medium sweet, that's 18 to 45 grams per liter of residual sugar. So you're going to have noticeable sweet, but still balanced wine on the palate. Now your decadent sweet wines are going to have 45 grams per liter plus in that bottle of wine. So truly you're talking about dessert wines here. It's important to remember though that most still wines are going to be dry. People ask about that all the time. Ultimately, understanding sugar's role in wine can truly help your tasting experience. But like always, we encourage you to explore different styles to truly understand what you like. Get out there and discover wines to awaken your palate so you can truly savor the balance between sweetness and what we love, which is acidity. And while each bottle does tell a story behind the winemakers and nature, you gotta recognize how your personal taste definitely influences your wine choices, especially when it comes to sweetness. So what you've learned, use the wine sweetness scale as a tool to choose wines that match your palate. Understand the classifications from dry to sweet to empower informed choices. Because each classification represents a way to understand how sweetness can influence wine flavor. So with that, I say cheers to your wine journey and the discoveries ahead.